My friends, the world will try to convince you that you need others, that you need circumstances to align, that you must wait for opportunities, for approval, for timing. But I tell you this, you only need yourself. For within you lies the source of all creation. Every image you have ever seen, every event you have ever lived, has first been conceived in the unseen chambers of your imagination. Look around. Every building, every invention, every piece of art, before it stood in stone or steel, it was first a vision in the mind of its creator. And so it is with your life. If you want to change your world, do not fight against conditions. Do not plead with others to give you what you think is lacking. Turn inward, for the secret of your tomorrow is hidden in the picture you carry of yourself today. When you dare to believe in the unseen, when you assume within yourself the feeling of your desire fulfilled, you are planting the seed that must by law appear in your outer world. The world cannot resist the conviction of one who inwardly knows. Your inner conversations are the builders of your destiny. What you whisper to yourself in silence, those quiet repetitions of doubt or of faith, become the very structure of your experience. If you persist in speaking to yourself as though you already are the person you desire to be, the world has no choice but to echo it back to you. No man, no woman, no condition holds your future. Only you do. For your world is your own reflection, faithfully showing you who you assume yourself to be. If you see lack, it is the projection of a mind dwelling on lack. If you see abundance, it is because you have embraced abundance within. So I say, stand firm in your vision. Do not wait for permission. Do not seek validation. Assume the end boldly and live in it as though it were already here. When you walk in that state, life bends itself to fulfill your conviction. For in truth, you only need yourself. And when you discover that, you will find that the self within you is far greater than you ever imagined. Imagination is the true source of creation, the silent workshop where all things are born. Before a single event unfolds in your outer world, it is first conceived in the unseen depths of your inner world. The thoughts you dwell upon, the pictures you allow to dominate your mind, and the emotions you attach to those pictures all become the blueprint from which your life is built. You may think circumstances create your experience, but in truth, it is your inner state that molds the circumstances. Change your thoughts, and the world changes. For the world is nothing but the reflection of your consciousness. Consider for a moment the things that surround you. Every invention you use, every building you enter, every work of art you admire, all of them were once invisible. They existed only as an idea, an image within someone's imagination. Before the plane ever flew, it was only a vision in the mind of its creator. Before a great book was written, it was only a dream whispered silently within. The outer form was simply the shadow of an inner conviction. So it is with your own life. The experiences you meet, whether pleasant or unpleasant, are the shadows cast by the thoughts you persist in entertaining. Most people believe they are victims of circumstance, but this is only because they do not realize the power they hold. They look at what is happening around them and assume that the world is fixed, unchangeable, and independent of their inner life. But the truth is the opposite. The outer is always the servant of the inner. When you alter the pictures you carry of yourself and the world, the conditions that once seemed immovable begin to bend. New opportunities appear. Old obstacles dissolve. What once seemed impossible becomes natural. Imagination is not idle fantasy, it is creative power. To imagine yourself healthy while feeling the reality of it is to set in motion the very forces that bring health into your experience. To imagine success while dwelling in the feeling of already being successful is to call success forth from the unseen. The world responds not to what you want faintly, but to what you assume vividly. This is why a passing thought carries little weight. But a sustained inner vision, accepted as truth, must eventually clothe itself in fact. When you recognize this, you stop blaming others for your condition. You no longer plead with life to give you what you lack. Instead, you turn inward and claim it within. You assume the end boldly and dwell in it until it feels real. And because imagination is the womb of creation, that which you hold inwardly must be delivered outwardly. So when you wish to change your life, do not fight against appearances. Do not wrestle with shadows. Simply change your inner state. Live in the vision of what you desire as though it were already true. Persist in that assumption, and the world, being nothing more than your mirror, will reflect it back. Imagination is the true source of creation, and in learning to master it, you master life itself. Faith in the unseen shapes the seen. For all that comes into being first exists as an invisible seed within the mind. The visible world, which you call reality, is only the harvest of beliefs that have been planted and nurtured in the unseen soil of consciousness. What you accept inwardly, even before there is the slightest evidence of it outwardly, must, by an unbreakable law, manifest in your world. Faith is not hoping that something might occur, nor is it merely wishing for a better tomorrow. Faith is the inner certainty, the quiet conviction that what you hold in imagination is already yours, even though the senses deny it. This truth has been echoed through the ages. The world you see is but a reflection of the unseen you have embraced. A person who carries within themselves the belief of unworthiness will encounter a life that reflects rejection and limitation. Another, who holds inwardly the sense of dignity and abundance, will walk through doors that open almost effortlessly. The difference is not found in fortune, environment, or luck. It is found in faith. It is found in what each has accepted inwardly as true of themselves. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the unseen cause that calls forth the seen effect. To walk in faith is to live from the end, to assume the state you desire and dwell in it as though it were already present. This is not pretending, nor is it self-deception. It is recognizing that the unseen is the true reality, and that what you see with your physical eyes is but the shadow of what has already been accepted in the inner realm. Just as a seed once planted must produce after its kind, so too must the inward acceptance produce outwardly. Consider the artist who sees the completed painting in their mind before a single stroke touches the canvas, or the architect who carries the vision of a building before one stone is laid. They do not doubt, they do not question, they know. And because they know, the outer form must eventually match the inner picture. This is the same law by which your life unfolds. What you accept inwardly with faith and persistence must materialize. The senses often argue against this. They show you what appears to be lack, limitation, or delay. But faith pays no attention to the evidence of the senses. Faith holds to the unseen reality, even when the outer world seems to contradict it. In doing so, faith reshapes the outer world. To believe only when you see is not faith at all. It is simply agreement with appearances. True faith believes first, and then the seen follows. So when you desire change, you must begin not by waiting for outer confirmation, but by embracing the unseen within. Accept it now as real, live in its feeling, and persist regardless of appearances. In time, the world will conform, for faith in the unseen shapes the seen, and the unseen you have claimed will inevitably become the life you live. The inner conversation creates the outer reality, for the dialogue you carry on within yourself is the true author of your experiences. Every day, you speak silently in the chambers of your mind. You question, you affirm, you doubt, you rehearse possibilities, and you revisit memories. These words may never be spoken aloud, but they form the pattern of your life. The words you repeat in silence become the echoes of your world, returning to you as events, circumstances, and encounters. You may think life is happening to you, but in truth it is responding to the script you are writing, moment by moment. Within, your inner conversation is not idle, it is creative. When you silently say, "I can't," you plant the seed of limitation. When you whisper to yourself, "I am unlucky," the world mirrors back experiences that reinforce that belief. Conversely, when you affirm within, "I am able, I am worthy, I am successful," even if no outer evidence yet exists, you set in motion the forces that bring those realities to pass. Life has no choice but to reflect the tone of your inner speech, for your world is a mirror of your assumptions. Most people are unaware of the power of their inner talk. They complain of lack, but their secret dialogue is filled with words of doubt and fear. They long for success, but in silence they argue for their own smallness. They wonder why nothing changes, yet every night as they drift to sleep, they rehearse the same stories of failure or rejection. The world faithfully reflects these conversations not as punishment, but as law. The inner dialogue sustained becomes the outer event lived. The transformation of life begins with the transformation of speech. First, the silent speech within. You do not have to shout, you do not have to force, you need only to persist in a new conversation. When you begin to tell yourself in silence, "I am already what I desire to be. I am living in my answered prayer," something subtle yet powerful shifts within you. The outer world, though it may seem unchanged at first, cannot resist the steady pressure of your new inner word. It must eventually echo back what you have claimed inwardly. Imagine two actors rehearsing a play. If the lines they speak change, the story itself changes. So it is with you. Your life is the stage, but the script is written in your silent conversations. Change the script and the performance must follow. This is why it is so vital to guard your inner talk. Every repetition strengthens an assumption. Every word spoken in silence is a seed cast into the soil of consciousness. If you persist in sowing words of faith, strength, and fulfillment, your harvest will be a life that bears those very qualities. Therefore, listen carefully to what you say to yourself when no one else is listening. Train the voice within to agree with your highest vision, not your present limitation. For the inner conversation creates the outer reality, and the words you whisper in silence will one day be shouted by the circumstances of your life. Self is the only power you need, for within you lies the source of all creation and all transformation. Too often, people believe their destiny depends on the approval of others, on the rise and fall of circumstances, or on conditions beyond their control. They wait for opportunities, depend on authority, and look to external forces to determine their worth. Yet the truth is far simpler and infinitely more empowering. No external authority, no condition, no person can limit what you assume to be true of yourself. Your own self, your inner conviction of who you are, is the one and only power that shapes your world. The self is not the fragile personality shaped by opinions or experiences. It is the deeper awareness that assumes, imagines, and believes. This inner self is sovereign, and it rules the outer world by what it accepts as true. If you assume yourself to be weak, life will echo weakness. If you assume yourself to be strong, life will provide situations that confirm your strength. Others may try to influence you. Circumstances may appear threatening, yet all of these are shadows. The real substance is what you hold inwardly. History and everyday life alike testify to this. How many have risen from obscurity to greatness simply because they assumed themselves capable, even when no one else believed in them? How many have broken through limitation because they refused to accept the labels that the world placed upon them? In contrast, how many, with every advantage, still live small lives because they accepted an inner story of fear or inadequacy? The deciding factor was never external. It was always the self-concept carried within. When you truly grasp this, dependence on others begins to fall away. You no longer wait for validation, for permission, or for circumstances to line up. You stop pleading with the world to give you what you already possess inwardly. Instead, you assume the state you desire and live in it boldly. You realize that to change the world outside, you must first change the image of yourself inside. The outer will always reflect the inner, and the inner is entirely under your authority. To believe that others hold power over you is to give away your birthright. No one can imprison your imagination. No one can dictate your assumptions. You may be in a place of difficulty, yet the moment you assume a new state of being, you set in motion a new future. This is why the self is the only true power. It alone decides what you accept, and what you accept must eventually appear in form. Dare to believe greatly of yourself. Assume that you are already the person you desire to be. Walk in that conviction, even when the outer world seems unchanged. The world has no choice but to mirror back the truth you have embraced within. Self is the only power you need, and when you discover this, you realize that freedom, creation, and fulfillment are already yours. Assume the end and live in it, for by dwelling in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you call into being what already exists in spirit. Every desire you hold is not a random longing, but a signpost pointing toward a reality that is already alive within the unseen. When you desire something deeply, it is life itself, whispering to you that it is possible, that it is waiting for your acceptance. The way to bring it into form is not through struggle or endless effort, but by assuming the end and living in it now. And to assume the end is to occupy the state of fulfillment even before any outer evidence supports it. It is to walk, speak, and think as though the desired outcome were already yours. The mind may argue that this is foolish, that you must wait until circumstances prove it. But waiting for the world to change before you change within is to remain at the mercy of appearances. The law of creation works in the opposite direction. You change first, inwardly, and the world, compelled by your assumption, reshapes itself to reflect your inner state. When you assume the end, you are not pretending. You are aligning with the deeper reality, for everything that can ever exist already exists in spirit. The unseen is the true storehouse of all things, and your assumption is the act of claiming it. To live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to declare, "This is already mine. I walk in its reality now." When you persist in this conviction, the outer world must conform, for the unseen is always the cause of the seen. Consider an actor preparing for a role. Though the play has not yet begun, they take on the character, walking, speaking, and feeling as that character would. In time, the audience accepts this reality without question. So it is with you. By assuming the end and embodying it inwardly, you step into the role of the person you desire to be. Soon, life itself becomes the stage that reflects the part you have chosen. The secret lies in the feeling. Words alone will not do. It is the emotional acceptance that carries creative power. To feel the joy of success before success arrives, to rest in the peace of answered prayer before the evidence appears, this is the way to draw it into form. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the magnetic force that attracts to you the conditions necessary to give it life. Many wait for signs before they believe, but the one who assumes the end needs no sign. Their faith is the sign. And because they persist, life eventually bends to match their inner stance. What seemed impossible becomes inevitable, for they have already lived it within. So do not wait for tomorrow. Assume the end today. Live in the joy, the confidence, and the peace of fulfillment now. For by dwelling in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you summon into visibility that which already exists in spirit, and your world cannot help but reflect it back to you. Your outer world is your mirror, faithfully reflecting the image you hold of yourself within. Every experience you encounter, every circumstance you meet, and every relationship you form is feedback from your inner state. Life is not random, nor is it governed by chance. It is the exact outpicturing of who you believe yourself to be. When you look at your world, you are, in truth, looking at yourself. Your assumptions, your self-concept, your beliefs clothed in form. Most people spend their lives wrestling with shadows. They fight against conditions, resist others, and attempt to force change in the external world, all the while ignoring the cause within. But the outer is never the source. It is only the reflection. To attempt to change your circumstances without first changing your inner state is like trying to alter your reflection in a mirror without moving your own body. The moment you shift within, the mirror must adjust, for it has no life apart from you. This principle is both liberating and sobering. It means that you are never truly a victim of circumstances, no matter how convincing they appear. What you encounter is a projection of what you have assumed to be true about yourself. If you believe you are unloved, you will meet experiences that echo rejection. If you assume yourself prosperous, opportunities will arise to confirm your abundance. The mirror cannot lie. It shows you precisely who you are, being inwardly. Yet this is not cause for condemnation, but for empowerment. For if your outer world is only a reflection, then by changing the image you hold within, you can transform your life completely. You do not need to beg others to treat you differently. You do not need to struggle against circumstance. You need only to assume a new state of being. When you believe differently about yourself, the world has no choice but to echo your new belief. Think of it as a conversation between the inner and the outer. The world is continually answering the questions you have asked in silence. It is showing you, through events and encounters, the story you have been telling yourself. If you want a new answer, you must ask a new question. If you want a new reflection, you must embody a new assumption. This is why self-concept is the cornerstone of transformation. You cannot consistently experience what contradicts the truth you hold of yourself. You may temporarily rise above it, but the mirror always returns to the inner picture. To sustain lasting change, you must alter the root, who you know yourself to be. When you claim within, I am worthy, I am chosen, I am abundant, and persist in that knowing, life bends to confirm it. Observe your world not with despair but with curiosity. Ask yourself, what is this reflecting back to me? What belief have I been carrying? Then, if the reflection displeases you, change the image within. For your outer world is your mirror, and by choosing a new inner state, you call forth a new reflection, brighter, truer, and more aligned with who you choose to be. And so, my friends, the truth is simple yet profound. You only need yourself. For imagination is the womb of creation. Faith in the unseen is the bridge to the seen. Your inner conversation is the script of your destiny. The self is the only true power. Assuming the end calls forth the unseen into visibility, and your outer world is nothing more than the mirror of your inner state. Do not search outside for permission, for authority, or for proof. Everything you seek is already within you, waiting for your acceptance. Dare to believe greatly of yourself. Dare to live in the end boldly. Dare to claim the truth that the world is only showing you what you first accepted inwardly. When you master yourself, you master life. When you know that all power is within, you walk free, unshaken, and full of peace. For you only need yourself, and when you truly realize that, you will find that the self within you is limitless. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cause of all struggle is within. The world you see before you is but a reflection of the inner world you have created. If you are grappling with doubt, fear, or uncertainty, it is because the images you hold in your imagination have created a reality in discord with your true desires. Imagination is the most potent force we possess, though few realize its true power. Every aspect of your life, whether you recognize it or not, is shaped and governed by the images you hold in your mind. It is not simply a tool for idle daydreams or fantastical thinking. Imagination is the creative force that constructs your reality. Your experiences, circumstances, and relationships all emerge from the inner world of your mind. When you understand this, you begin to see that nothing in your external world exists independently of your imagination. What you consistently imagine, whether good or bad, will inevitably manifest in your life. Many people struggle because they misuse their imaginative power, often without realizing it. Instead of directing their imagination towards their desired outcomes, they allow it to be consumed by fears, doubts, and worries. This misuse of imagination leads to frustration, as the very images they are preoccupied with bring about the negative experiences they wish to avoid. To worry about a future failure, to dwell on past mistakes, or to picture obstacles in your way is to actively use your creative power against yourself. In doing so, you unknowingly perpetuate the very conditions that cause inner struggle. Your imagination is not bound by the physical laws that govern the external world. It operates on a higher plane, where time and space are fluid, and anything is possible. When you imagine something, you are creating it in a dimension that precedes physical reality. The moment you conceive of an idea or image, it begins to take form in the unseen realm. If you persist in holding that image, it will inevitably harden into fact. The outer world, being merely a reflection of the inner, must conform to the pictures you impress upon your mind. The challenge many face is learning to discipline their imagination. It is easy to let it run wild, especially when confronted with the difficulties of life. Yet the key to mastering your reality lies in mastering your mind. You must learn to deliberately choose the images you dwell upon. Instead of letting your mind be swayed by appearances or fears, you must focus on what you wish to create. See yourself as the person you desire to be, living the life you dream of, regardless of your current circumstances. In this practice, you are not simply imagining for the sake of comfort or distraction. You are planting the seeds of your future reality. As you practice using your imagination deliberately, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your life. Doors will open where once there were walls. Opportunities will appear that seem to align perfectly with your desires. This is not coincidence. It is the natural outworking of the images you have persistently imagined. The world will rearrange itself to reflect the internal changes you have made. What you hold in your imagination is not wishful thinking, it is the blueprint of what is to come. It is important to remember that the creative process requires faith and patience. Just as a seed takes time to grow into a tree, the images you impress upon your mind will take time to manifest in the physical world. You must trust the process and not be swayed by temporary setbacks or appearances. The unseen forces of creation are always at work, responding to your inner world. The more you trust in the power of your imagination, the more you will witness its profound effects. The creative power of imagination is boundless. It is the key to transforming your life, for it allows you to transcend the limitations of the physical world and shape your reality from within. Once you grasp this truth, you will no longer be a passive observer of life's unfolding events. Instead, you will step into your role as the conscious creator of your world, empowered to mold your future according to the desires of your heart. At the core of every human experience lies belief. It is the silent architect of your reality, the invisible force that shapes your life in ways you might not even notice. What you believe about yourself, the world, and the possibilities available to you is the foundation upon which all your experiences rest. Every moment of your life, every circumstance, is a reflection of what you hold to be true. Your beliefs, whether consciously chosen or unconsciously inherited, dictate the course of your life. Beliefs are far more powerful than mere thoughts. Thoughts are fleeting, but beliefs are deeply rooted, influencing how you interpret the world and how the world responds to you. They are the lenses through which you see everything, filtering your perception and guiding your decisions. If you believe the world is hostile, you will find hostility in every corner. If you believe in abundance, you will attract opportunities for wealth and growth. Your beliefs set the parameters for your life, determining what is possible and what is impossible, what is real and what is illusion. Many of the struggles people face stem from limiting beliefs they hold about themselves or their circumstances. These beliefs may have been instilled in childhood, absorbed from society, or formed through past experiences. You may not even be aware of them, because they operate at such a deep subconscious level. Yet they govern your actions and reactions, subtly creating the conditions of your life. If you believe you are unworthy of love, no matter how much affection is shown to you, you will find ways to reject it or push it away. If you believe success is out of reach, no amount of effort will seem to yield the results you desire. Your beliefs, therefore, are self-fulfilling. They shape your actions and invite corresponding experiences into your life. If you believe you are capable and deserving of good things, your actions will reflect that belief, and opportunities will naturally gravitate toward you. But if you believe in lack, in limitation, or in your own inadequacy, you will unconsciously sabotage your own efforts and create obstacles where none existed before. Your outer world is merely a mirror of your inner state, reflecting back to you the beliefs you hold as true. But the good news is that beliefs can be changed. You are not bound by the limitations of your current beliefs unless you choose to be. By examining the beliefs that govern your life, you can begin the process of transformation. The first step is awareness. Take a close look at your life, your relationships, your finances, your health, your overall sense of fulfillment. Where there is struggle, there is likely a belief in opposition to what you truly desire. Once you identify these limiting beliefs, you can consciously choose to replace them with beliefs that serve you. This process requires persistence and faith, for beliefs that have been held for a long time do not dissolve overnight. However, with consistent effort, you can reprogram your mind to adopt new, empowering beliefs. By affirming the truth of what you desire, even when external evidence suggests otherwise, you begin to reshape your inner world. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between reality and imagination. It accepts as truth whatever you feed it consistently. So by repeatedly affirming your new beliefs and visualizing them as already realized, you plant the seeds for a new experience. As your beliefs change, so too will your life. The world, once perceived through the lens of limitation, will begin to open up, revealing new possibilities. You will notice that circumstances shift in your favor, that opportunities arise where once there were only challenges. This is not magic, but the natural result of aligning your beliefs with your desires. When you believe in your worth, your capabilities, and the abundance of the universe, life must reflect that truth. It is an unbreakable law what you believe, you will experience. Your beliefs are the bedrock of your existence. They are the foundation upon which your life is built, for better or worse. To transform your life, you must begin by transforming your beliefs. When you do, you will find that the world itself begins to change, mirroring back to you the beauty, abundance, and joy that have always been yours to claim. The subconscious mind is the silent, unseen force that governs the majority of our lives. Though it operates beneath the surface, it is the foundation upon which our external reality is built. Every thought, every belief, every emotion we entertain is impressed upon the subconscious, and in turn, it shapes the world around us. Like a seed planted in fertile soil, whatever we consciously or unconsciously impress upon the subconscious mind grows into the circumstances and events we experience in life. Many people live unaware of the profound influence their subconscious has on their reality. They believe their circumstances are dictated by external factors such as luck, other people, or forces beyond their control. But the truth is, the subconscious mind acts as a kind of mirror, reflecting back to us what we have sown into it. If you consistently fill your subconscious with thoughts of lack, fear, or doubt, it will dutifully manifest these experiences in your external world. Conversely, if you feed it thoughts of abundance, love, and success, these too will become your lived reality. The subconscious does not question or judge the validity of what you impress upon it. It simply accepts and acts upon whatever it is given, whether positive or negative. It is this neutral nature that makes it so powerful and, at times, so dangerous. If we are not careful, we can unwittingly plant seeds of self-doubt, fear, and limitation into the subconscious, only to find those very things growing into challenges and struggles in our lives. Many of the difficulties we face are not the result of external circumstances, but the product of the seeds we have unknowingly planted in the garden of the subconscious. What is often misunderstood is that the subconscious mind is always active, always working to bring forth the ideas and emotions we impress upon it, whether we do so deliberately or not. It governs our habits, behaviors, and automatic responses, shaping the way we interact with the world and how the world responds to us. Much of what we experience is not the result of conscious effort, but the workings of the subconscious. That is why it is crucial to become aware of what we are feeding into it, because whatever we focus on consistently, whether through fear, worry, or hope, becomes the blueprint for our reality. The key to harnessing the power of the subconscious mind is through repetition and emotion. The subconscious is particularly receptive to ideas that are charged with strong feelings, whether those feelings are positive or negative. This is why events that stir up intense emotions, like trauma or moments of deep joy, leave such a lasting impression. They are seared into the subconscious and continue to influence our thoughts and actions long after the moment has passed. To effectively reprogram the subconscious, one must consistently feed it positive, constructive images and feelings, impressing upon it the desired outcome with conviction and emotion. The act of visualization is one of the most effective ways to influence the subconscious. By vividly imagining the life you desire, and doing so with emotion and regularity, you plant the seeds of that reality in your subconscious mind. Over time, these seeds grow, influencing your actions, drawing the right people and circumstances into your life, and eventually bringing about the manifestation of your desires. However, this process requires patience and persistence. Just as seeds do not sprout overnight, the ideas and beliefs you impress upon your subconscious take time to manifest. But with unwavering faith and continued focus, the results are inevitable. One of the greatest misconceptions people have is that external changes must occur before they can feel a sense of fulfillment or success. In reality, the process works in reverse. Inner change must precede outer change. By transforming the contents of your subconscious, by replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones, fear with confidence, doubt with faith, you transform your entire life. The world you experience is a direct reflection of the world within. So, if you wish to change your life, you must first change the seeds you are planting in the subconscious. The subconscious mind is not just the seed of your world, it is the very ground from which your entire life springs forth. It is ever responsive, ever active, and ever ready to bring forth whatever is impressed upon it. When you consciously direct your thoughts and emotions toward your desired outcome, the subconscious will move heaven and earth to make it a reality. Recognizing this truth gives you the power to shape your world from within, for the life you experience is the harvest of the seeds sown in the depths of your subconscious mind. Self-concept, the way you perceive yourself, is the most powerful determinant of your destiny. It is not merely about how you think or feel in the moment, but the deeply ingrained beliefs and assumptions you hold about who you are and what you are capable of. Your self-concept serves as the blueprint for your life, dictating how you interact with the world, the opportunities you attract, and the limitations you impose on yourself. Whatever you believe yourself to be, consciously or unconsciously, will shape every facet of your existence, from your relationships and career to your health and personal fulfillment. The truth is, your outer reality is always a reflection of your inner self-concept. If you see yourself as successful, competent, and deserving of good things, life tends to unfold in ways that confirm these beliefs. Opportunities appear, challenges are met with confidence, and success seems to flow naturally. Conversely, if you view yourself as inadequate, unlucky, or undeserving, your experiences will reflect these assumptions. Even if opportunities arise, they are often missed or sabotaged, reinforcing the limiting beliefs you hold about yourself. Many people are unaware of the extent to which their self-concept governs their lives. They may blame external factors, circumstances, other people, or luck for their struggles, never realizing that the true cause lies within. If you believe that the world is hostile, or that you are undeserving of success, you will subconsciously create situations that validate these beliefs. It is not that the world is inherently working against you, rather, you are projecting your self-concept onto it, and it mirrors back the reality you expect to see. The law of self-concept is unyielding. You cannot consistently outperform your own self-image. This is why even those who seem to achieve success often find it fleeting if their self-concept does not align with their achievements. They may reach a level of prosperity or recognition, but if, deep down, they see themselves as unworthy, they will find ways to lose what they have gained. This self-sabotage is not a conscious act, but a subconscious drive to bring outer circumstances back in line with the inner self-image. No matter how much you consciously desire something, if your self-concept contradicts that desire, your subconscious will resist it. Changing your destiny, then, requires a change in self-concept. The process begins with awareness, taking a close look at how you truly see yourself. What do you believe you are capable of? What assumptions do you hold about your worth and potential? By examining your life, you can identify the areas where your self-concept is limiting you. Wherever there is a pattern of failure, struggle, or dissatisfaction, there is likely a self-concept at odds with your desires. Once you have identified these limiting beliefs, the next step is to consciously and deliberately redefine your self-concept. This is not about pretending to be someone you are not, but about aligning your inner perception with the highest version of yourself. Through visualization, affirmation, and the repetition of new, empowering beliefs, you can begin to reshape how you see yourself. Imagine the person you wish to be: successful, confident, capable, and assume that identity in your mind. Over time, this new self-concept will take root in your subconscious, influencing your actions, decisions, and interactions with the world. As your self-concept shifts, so too will your external reality. You will notice that opportunities that once seemed out of reach now flow to you effortlessly. Challenges that once felt insurmountable will be met with newfound confidence. Relationships will improve, and success will come more naturally, because you are no longer working against the internal limitations you once imposed on yourself. The most important thing to remember is that your self-concept is not fixed. It can be changed at any time, and with that change comes the power to alter your destiny. The world outside of you will always conform to the world inside of you. If you want to change your life, change the way you see yourself. The possibilities are limitless when you align your self-concept with the life you desire, for your destiny is not determined by chance or circumstance, but by the way you perceive and define yourself. The power of assumption is one of the most profound and transformative forces governing our lives. It operates on the principle that whatever state you assume to be true in your mind will, sooner or later, manifest in your reality. Your assumptions, whether they are conscious or unconscious, are the molds into which the substance of your life is poured. They shape your experiences, define your limitations, and set the trajectory of your future. Assumption is not just about wishful thinking or idle daydreams. It is the active process of imagining and believing a state as if it were already real. And through this, your outer world conforms to the inner reality you have assumed. Many people struggle because they unknowingly assume negative or limiting states. They may believe they are merely reacting to circumstances, but in reality, they are creating those circumstances through their deep-seated assumptions. If you assume failure, difficulty, or lack in any area of your life, your mind will work tirelessly to bring those conditions into being. The power of assumption works with both positive and negative states. It does not judge, it simply brings forth what you hold to be true. Thus, if you persist in assuming that life is a struggle, that people are unkind, or that success is elusive, your experiences will validate these beliefs. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you embrace the reality of your desires as already being present, you set powerful creative forces into motion. This is not merely a mental exercise, it is an energetic alignment with the state you wish to experience. Assumption is the bridge between the invisible world of thoughts and the tangible world of form. When you assume a state, you begin to embody it in thought, feeling, and action, drawing circumstances, people, and opportunities into your life that match the frequency of your assumption. To truly harness the power of assumption, one must understand that it operates in the present moment. Many people delay their assumptions by thinking that one day they will achieve their desires, but this only pushes those desires further away. The key is to assume that your desire is already fulfilled, right here and now. Feel the reality of it in your imagination. What would your life be like if you were already living your dream? How would you feel? How would you act? When you assume the state of the wish fulfilled, you create a mental and emotional blueprint that your subconscious mind will work to bring into physical reality. The subconscious mind is especially responsive to feeling. It is not the mere repetition of thoughts that impresses the subconscious, but the emotional conviction behind those thoughts. This is why assuming a state with feeling is so powerful. When you consistently hold the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are impressing that state upon your subconscious, which in turn begins to influence your behavior, decisions, and the events that unfold around you. The world, then, becomes a reflection of your internal state. One of the most remarkable aspects of the power of assumption is that it bypasses logic and external evidence. You do not need to see any signs of your desire in the physical world to assume that it is already true. In fact, waiting for external validation can be a trap that keeps you stuck in your current reality. The power lies in assuming the feeling of the desired outcome, even when outer conditions suggest the opposite. By doing so, you transcend the limitations of the present moment and align yourself with the reality you wish to create. Many people may ask, how long does it take for an assumption to manifest? The answer is not fixed, because it depends on the strength and persistence of the assumption. Some assumptions can manifest rapidly, while others take time. However, the key is persistence. Do not waver in your assumption, even if the outer world seems unchanged. Continue to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, knowing that the inner shift has already occurred and the outer shift is inevitable. The power of assumption is the foundation of all personal transformation. It gives you the ability to consciously create your reality by aligning your inner world with your desires. Instead of being at the mercy of circumstances, you become the master of your destiny, crafting a life that reflects the states you choose to embody. Through the power of assumption, you realize that you are not a passive participant in life, but the active creator of your experiences. The world will always reflect your assumptions, and when you assume the best is what you will experience. Creation always happens in the present moment. The present is the only point of power, the only moment where change occurs, and the only time in which you can consciously direct the course of your life. Many people mistakenly believe that the future holds the key to their dreams, thinking that one day they will achieve their desires. But this way of thinking overlooks the profound truth that the future is created by the assumptions and beliefs you hold in the present. What you assume, believe, and feel in this very moment sets the stage for the experiences you will encounter later. The mind has a tendency to drift into the past or project into the future, but neither of these realms holds the power to create. The past is fixed, and the future is only an illusion, something shaped by what you do right now. Creation is not about hoping for a better tomorrow, nor is it about being tied to past failures or successes. It is about consciously directing your thoughts and feelings in the present, for it is only in the now that you can plant the seeds of future outcomes. Everything begins here and now. The present moment is where your imagination comes alive, where your assumptions take root, and where you align yourself with your desires. When you focus your awareness on the present, you free yourself from the limiting stories of the past and the uncertainties of the future. This is the secret to creation, understanding that the state of being you assume right now, in this moment, is what determines the experiences that will follow. If you wish to manifest change, it must begin with how you feel and think in the present moment. Most people live their lives reacting to external circumstances, believing that change must first occur outside before they can feel differently inside. But the opposite is true. Creation works from the inside out. If you want to experience abundance, success, love, or health, you must first embody those states within yourself right now. Imagine how it feels to already be the person you desire to be. Feel the reality of your wishes fulfilled in the present, regardless of your current external situation. This practice of living in the present, as if your desires are already realized, is the key to creation. By doing so, you align yourself with the state you wish to experience. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between reality and imagination. It accepts whatever you impress upon it as true. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled in the present, your subconscious goes to work, bringing into your life the people, events, and circumstances that reflect that state. Creation in the present moment also requires a deep trust in the process. Many people become discouraged when they do not see immediate changes in their external world. But this impatience is often what blocks the creative process. Just as seeds take time to grow into full plants, The seeds you plant in your mind take time to manifest into physical reality. Trust that the creative forces are at work the moment you assume your desired state. The key is to persist in the present moment, continually aligning your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions with the outcome you wish to experience. One of the greatest obstacles to present moment creation is the habit of living in the past. The mind often clings to past disappointments, regrets, or successes, assuming that what has been will continue to be. However, when you dwell on the past, you recreate it. You bring the energy of past experiences into the present, allowing them to shape your future. To break free from this cycle, you must let go of the past and focus your creative power on the now. Projecting your desires into the future delays their manifestation. When you constantly think about how your dreams will come true someday, you push them away. The only way to bring them into being is to assume they are already yours, in this very moment. Feel the reality of your desires as if they are present now, and trust that this is the starting point of all creation. Creation is an ongoing process that takes place in the eternal now. It is not something that happens tomorrow or at some distant point in time. Your ability to create is always active, and it is determined by your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions in the present moment. When you grasp this truth, you realize that the life you desire is not something you must wait for, it is something you can begin to live right now. By fully embracing the power of the present, you unlock the creative potential within yourself and bring your deepest desires into reality. In conclusion, the key to transforming your life lies within your understanding of the principles we've discussed: imagination, belief, self-concept, assumption, and the power of the present moment. Your inner world shapes your outer reality, and what you hold true in your mind becomes the foundation of your experiences. By assuming the state of your desires as already fulfilled and focusing on the present moment as the point of creation, you align yourself with the outcomes you seek. Everything begins within, and by consciously directing your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, you can manifest the life you truly desire. Thank you for your time and attention, and I hope these insights empower you to create the reality you envision. Beloved, do not think it strange when you face trials of many kinds. You are not here by accident, nor are the difficulties you face without meaning. There is a divine plan, a carefully crafted design, and you are the chosen one for it. But what does it mean to be chosen? Why is your path strewn with such hardship, while others seem to walk an easier road? Your life is not an accident, nor is it the product of random events. Everything you experience is part of a divine design, a masterful plan that has been crafted for your unique journey. The difficulties, the challenges, the moments of doubt and despair, all of these have a purpose. They are not meaningless obstacles, but rather tools intricately woven into the fabric of your existence to shape and refine you. The key to understanding the divine design is to realize that your perspective shapes your experience. When you see life's challenges as obstacles, they will feel heavy, burdensome, and unjust. But when you begin to see them as part of a higher plan, as necessary components of your growth, you open yourself to a deeper understanding of life's purpose. You realize that nothing is happening to you, everything is happening for you. There is a higher intelligence at work in your life, guiding you toward the realization of your own divinity. The divine design does not just aim to give you what you want, it seeks to make you who you are meant to be. And sometimes the path to becoming that person is paved with difficulty, because it is in the overcoming of those challenges that your true power is revealed. Embrace the plan. Recognize that every difficulty is part of your unfolding, part of the divine design that is leading you toward the highest expression of your being. The concept of the mirror of consciousness invites us to explore the profound connection between our inner thoughts and the outer world we experience. At the core of this idea lies the understanding that our reality is a direct reflection of our consciousness. Every thought, belief, and feeling we hold creates ripples in the fabric of our lives, shaping the experiences that manifest around us. When we truly grasp this concept, we begin to see how our inner landscape dictates our external reality. Imagine your consciousness as a mirror reflecting back everything you believe to be true about yourself and the world. The quality of the reflection depends on the clarity and condition of the mirror itself. If the mirror is clouded with doubt, fear, or limiting beliefs, the reflection will be distorted. We may see ourselves as unworthy, incapable, or powerless, and this skewed perception will color our experiences, attracting situations and people that align with these negative beliefs. Conversely, when we cultivate a clear and positive mindset, we reflect a more empowered reality, drawing in opportunities and relationships that resonate with our highest potential. Every challenge we face serves as a reminder to examine the reflections in our mirror. Life is a series of events that beckon us to confront our beliefs and assumptions. When difficulties arise, it's essential to pause and reflect on what these challenges reveal about our inner state. Are they pointing to fears that we haven't yet acknowledged? Do they expose limiting beliefs that need to be transformed? Instead of viewing challenges as adversaries, we can see them as teachers, guiding us to a deeper understanding of ourselves. The mirror of consciousness is not merely a passive reflection, it actively engages with our thoughts and emotions. Our beliefs act like magnets, attracting experiences that resonate with our internal state. For example, if we believe that the world is a hostile place, we may constantly encounter conflicts and obstacles that validate this perception. On the other hand, if we cultivate a mindset of love, gratitude, and possibility, we can expect to attract experiences that reflect those qualities. To harness the power of the mirror of consciousness, we must take responsibility for our thoughts and beliefs. This involves a conscious effort to observe our internal dialogue and challenge any negative patterns that arise. Are we nurturing thoughts of self-doubt, or are we affirming our inherent worth and capabilities? By shifting our focus to thoughts that empower us, we begin to clean the mirror and allow for a clearer reflection of our true selves. This process requires patience and dedication, as it may take time to see the shifts in our external reality. However, the changes will come as we persist in nurturing a positive inner landscape. As we engage in practices such as visualization, affirmation, and mindfulness, we begin to align our thoughts with our desires, transforming the reflection we see in the mirror. The mirror of consciousness empowers us to create the life we desire. It encourages us to recognize that we have the power to shape our reality through our beliefs and perceptions. By embracing this understanding, we can step into our role as conscious creators, designing a life that reflects our highest ideals and deepest truths. The more we embrace this truth, the more we come to realize that every aspect of our lives is a reflection of our consciousness, inviting us to grow, evolve, and awaken to our true potential. The furnace of refinement is a powerful metaphor for the transformative process we undergo in life. Just as precious metals must be subjected to intense heat to remove impurities and reveal their true brilliance, so too must we endure trials and tribulations to uncover the depth of our character and the strength of our spirit. In this journey of life, challenges act as the fire that refines us, helping us grow and evolve into our truest selves. Life is filled with moments of discomfort, uncertainty, and hardship. These experiences often feel overwhelming, and it's easy to fall into the trap of viewing them as mere obstacles or burdens. However, if we shift our perspective, we can begin to see them as essential components of our personal evolution. Each challenge we face is not just a random event, it is a carefully designed experience meant to push us beyond our limits and encourage us to confront our fears. When we encounter difficulties, we may initially resist or react with frustration, feeling as though we are being punished or dealt an unfair hand. Yet, this resistance often prolongs our suffering and obscures the lessons embedded within the experience. It is only when we surrender to the process and allow ourselves to be shaped by the heat of the furnace that we can truly begin to understand its purpose. In this state of surrender, we open ourselves to the possibility of growth and transformation. The furnace of refinement ignites the flame of our passion and purpose. In the face of hardship, we often find ourselves reevaluating our priorities and desires. The discomfort we experience can serve as a catalyst, prompting us to seek deeper meaning in our lives. As we navigate through the challenges, we may uncover hidden talents, passions, or dreams that had been dormant, waiting for the right moment to emerge. This newfound clarity can propel us toward a more fulfilling existence, aligning us with our true calling. Through the heat of the furnace, we also learn the importance of community and connection. As we endure our trials, we often discover that we are not alone in our struggles. Sharing our experiences with others can foster deeper relationships, reminding us that vulnerability can lead to profound connections. We may find support and encouragement in those who have faced similar challenges, creating a network of strength that can sustain us during difficult times. The furnace of refinement is a sacred space where transformation occurs. It invites us to embrace the discomfort, trust the process, and recognize that each challenge is a stepping stone on our journey of growth. As we navigate through the heat, we are shaped into more authentic versions of ourselves, emerging with greater clarity, strength, and purpose. In this way, the furnace does not merely burn away our impurities, it illuminates the path to our true essence, guiding us toward a life that reflects our highest potential. By embracing the trials we face, we participate in the divine alchemy of life, allowing ourselves to be refined and transformed in the process. The power of assumption is a profound principle that underscores our ability to shape our reality through the beliefs and assumptions we hold. This concept posits that what we assume to be true about ourselves and our lives becomes our experience. At its core, the power of assumption invites us to recognize that we are not mere passive observers in our lives. Rather, we are active participants, capable of influencing the unfolding of our personal narratives. To understand the power of assumption, we must first recognize that our beliefs shape our perceptions and experiences. Each day we are bombarded with countless thoughts, but it is the assumptions we accept as truth that direct our actions and reactions. For example, if we assume that we are destined for success, we will naturally gravitate toward opportunities and experiences that align with that belief. Conversely, if we assume that we are unworthy or incapable, we may inadvertently close ourselves off from possibilities, perpetuating a cycle of limitation. The process of assumption is not merely wishful thinking, it requires a deep, unwavering belief in the reality we wish to create. This means that we must cultivate a mindset that aligns with our desires. It's essential to understand that our current circumstances do not define our potential. The present moment is simply a reflection of past beliefs and assumptions. By consciously choosing to assume a new state of being, we initiate a shift in our experience. One of the most powerful aspects of the power of assumption is its ability to transcend time and space. When we assume a state of being, we are tapping into the infinite possibilities that exist within the universe. Our assumptions act as a beacon, drawing to us the people, opportunities, and circumstances that align with our beliefs. For instance, when we assume that we are surrounded by love and support, we may find that our relationships deepen and flourish. The universe responds to our assumptions, mirroring back to us the reality we envision. It's important to acknowledge that the power of assumption requires persistence. Doubts and fears may arise, threatening to disrupt our newly established beliefs. In these moments, it becomes crucial to reinforce our assumptions through affirmations, visualization, and conscious awareness. By consistently affirming our chosen beliefs, we fortify our assumptions and create a solid foundation upon which our new reality can be built. As we embrace the power of assumption, we begin to witness the transformative effects it has on our lives. We become aware of how our thoughts shape our reality and how our beliefs influence our experiences. This realization empowers us to take control of our destinies, enabling us to craft a life that resonates with our true desires. The power of assumption is a potent force in the creative process of life. By consciously choosing to assume a positive, empowering state of being, we unlock the potential to transform our circumstances. We become architects of our reality, capable of shaping our experiences through the beliefs we hold. The journey of harnessing the power of assumption is a personal and transformative one, leading us toward a life that reflects our highest aspirations and deepest truths. Embrace this power and allow your assumptions to guide you toward the fulfillment of your dreams.
The birth of the divine self is a profound awakening that marks a transformative journey toward realizing our inherent divinity. Within each of us lies a spark of the divine, a true essence that is often obscured by the layers of conditioning, fears, and limiting beliefs we accumulate throughout our lives. The process of awakening this divine self involves peeling away these layers to reveal the brilliance that has always existed within us. At the heart of this journey is the recognition that we are not merely human beings navigating the complexities of life, we are expressions of a greater consciousness. This divine self is not separate from the universe, but is intrinsically connected to it, embodying the same creative forces that shape existence itself. By understanding and embracing our divine nature, we can begin to transcend the limitations of our physical existence and step into a more expansive reality. The birth of the divine self often begins with a catalyst, a moment of realization, or a life-altering experience that prompts us to question our beliefs and assumptions. It could be a profound loss, a moment of crisis, or an unexpected opportunity that forces us to reevaluate our understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. During these pivotal moments, we may feel a deep yearning for something greater, a call to awaken to our true potential. As we embark on this journey of self-discovery, we may encounter resistance. The conditioned mind often resists change, clinging to familiar patterns and beliefs that no longer serve us. However, it is crucial to recognize that this resistance is a natural part of the process. It signifies that we are on the brink of transformation, challenging us to move beyond our comfort zones and embrace the unknown. To facilitate the birth of the divine self, we must engage in practices that promote self-awareness and inner exploration. Meditation, journaling, and mindful reflection are powerful tools that allow us to connect with our inner being and uncover the thoughts and beliefs that hinder our growth. Through these practices, we create a space for introspection, enabling us to confront our fears and doubts and release the limitations that bind us. As we delve deeper into our inner world, we may begin to uncover the qualities of our divine self attributes such as love, compassion, creativity, and wisdom. These qualities are not external, they reside within us, waiting to be recognized and expressed. The more we connect with our divine essence, the more we realize that we are not defined by our past or the opinions of others. Instead, we are free to redefine ourselves, to align our lives with the truth of who we are. The birth of the divine self is also a collective experience. As we awaken to our own divinity, we contribute to the awakening of others. Our transformation ripples out into the world, inspiring those around us to embark on their journeys of self-discovery. This interconnectedness highlights the importance of community and support as we share our insights and experiences, uplifting one another in the process. The birth of the divine self is about embracing our wholeness. It invites us to acknowledge both our human experience and our divine nature, finding harmony between the two. In this synthesis, we become fully alive, expressing our unique gifts and talents in ways that enrich not only our lives but the lives of others as well. As we continue to nurture the birth of our divine self, we step into a reality filled with possibility and purpose. We learn to trust in the unfolding of our journey, knowing that we are guided by a greater intelligence. Embracing this divine essence allows us to live authentically, courageously, and joyfully, illuminating the path for others to follow. In this awakening, we realize that the birth of the divine self is not just a personal journey, it is a universal one, inviting all of humanity to awaken to the truth of who we truly are. Persisting beyond appearances is a transformative concept that challenges us to look beyond the surface of our experiences and to hold steadfast to our inner beliefs and desires, even when the outer world seems to contradict them. Life is often filled with circumstances that can mislead us, creating an illusion that our dreams are unattainable or that our efforts are in vain. However, the true power lies in our ability to maintain faith in our vision and to continue moving forward despite these appearances. At the heart of this principle is the understanding that reality is malleable. It is shaped by our thoughts, beliefs, and expectations. Our current circumstances are not permanent fixtures, but rather temporary reflections of our past assumptions and perceptions. When we face challenges, setbacks, or disappointments, it can be all too easy to become disheartened and allow external factors to dictate our feelings and actions. This is where the art of persisting comes into play. It requires us to rise above our immediate perceptions and to trust in the unseen forces that are working in our favor. Persistence involves cultivating an unwavering belief in our ability to create the life we desire. It is about holding a vision of what we want to manifest and nurturing that vision with consistent thoughts, feelings, and actions. When we encounter obstacles, it is essential to remind ourselves that these are not definitive conclusions, but rather stepping stones on the path to our goals. Our persistence becomes a powerful declaration to the universe, affirming our commitment to our desires, regardless of the challenges we face. To persist beyond appearances, we must develop resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity and to remain steadfast in the face of difficulties. It is the understanding that setbacks are not failures but opportunities for growth and learning. Each challenge we encounter offers valuable lessons that can propel us forward. By viewing obstacles through this lens, we empower ourselves to take constructive action rather than succumbing to despair or defeat. A crucial aspect of persistence is the practice of visualization. Visualization is the act of creating a mental image of our desired outcome, immersing ourselves in the feelings associated with its realization. By consistently visualizing our goals, we reinforce our belief in their attainment, counteracting any negative thoughts that may arise in response to external circumstances. This practice serves as a reminder that our dreams are within reach, encouraging us to take inspired action in pursuit of our vision. Surrounding ourselves with positive influences is vital in maintaining our persistence. Engaging with individuals who uplift and inspire us can create a supportive environment that fosters our commitment to our goals. When we share our aspirations with like-minded individuals, we cultivate a collective energy that reinforces our belief in the possibility of our dreams. This support system can help us remain focused and motivated, even when the path becomes challenging. It is also essential to practice self-compassion during this journey. We may experience moments of doubt, frustration, or fear, and that is entirely natural. Instead of judging ourselves harshly, we can approach these feelings with kindness and understanding. Recognizing that every individual encounters challenges allows us to navigate our own struggles with grace and resilience. Persisting beyond appearances is a powerful testament to the strength of our inner beliefs and the clarity of our vision. It teaches us that we have the ability to shape our reality, regardless of the circumstances that may surround us. As we cultivate this persistence, we align ourselves with the flow of universal energy, opening the door to new possibilities and opportunities. In doing so, we not only create the life we desire but also inspire others to rise above their appearances and to pursue their dreams with unwavering faith and determination. The journey may be challenging, but the rewards of persistence are boundless, leading us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the limitless potential that lies within. In conclusion, the journey we undertake toward self-discovery and the realization of our divine potential is both profound and transformative. Each of the themes we've explored, whether it's the power of assumption, the birth of the divine self, the importance of persistence beyond appearances, or the furnace of refinement, serves as a reminder of our inherent ability to shape our reality. As we navigate through life's challenges and triumphs, let us remember that we possess the power to influence our experiences through our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. By embracing our divine nature and cultivating a mindset of possibility, we can transcend the limitations that often confine us. We are not merely victims of circumstance, we are powerful creators, capable of manifesting our dreams and aspirations. It is through our unwavering faith, resilience, and commitment to our vision that we can overcome obstacles and rise to new heights. Thank you for your attention and for sharing in this exploration of our potential. May we all continue to embrace the journey of self-discovery, and may our paths be illuminated with clarity, purpose, and boundless possibilities.
Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in each of our lives when the voices around us become too loud, too persistent, too insistent in their demands for our attention. But the truth is that the world outside is nothing more than a reflection of the world within. And in moments of clarity, we understand that if we are to create the life we truly desire, we must first learn to be silent. In the depths of silence, there is a voice that speaks not in words, but in knowing. This is the inner voice, the divine whisper that resides within each of us. It is not loud or demanding, for it doesn't need to be. Its quiet nature is a testament to its power, for only in stillness can we hear what is true. The outer world is a constant hum of distractions, opinions and noise, all vying for our attention. But beneath all of that, there is a source of guidance far more profound, a voice that speaks from the core of our being. This inner voice is the ultimate guide, because it is connected to the very essence of creation. It knows our deepest desires, our truest intentions, even before we consciously recognize them. But unlike the voice of the world, which is shaped by fear, doubt, and the limitations of external circumstances, the inner voice is born from a place of infinite wisdom. It comes from the part of us that is not bound by time or space, the part of us that is eternal, connected to the divine. When we allow ourselves to become still and listen, this voice reveals to us the path we are meant to take. It is not the voice of logic or reason, for those are tools of the mind, constrained by the limitations of the physical world. The inner voice transcends such limitations. It speaks in feelings, in intuitions, in flashes of insight that seem to come from nowhere. Yet they come from the deepest part of our being, from the well of consciousness that connects us to the universe itself. This voice does not beg for our attention, it waits patiently. It is always there, waiting for us to quiet the external noise and turn inward. Many miss its subtle guidance because they are too caught up in the clamor of the outer world. They seek answers in the opinions of others, in the validation of society, or in the fleeting assurances of material success. But the answers they seek are not out there. They are within. They have always been within. To trust the inner voice requires faith. It often leads us in directions that seem illogical or contrary to what the world would advise. But the inner voice is not concerned with the temporary nature of worldly concerns. It is concerned only with the fulfillment of our highest purpose, the realization of our true potential. When we listen to it, we are guided to places and opportunities that align with our soul's calling. In those moments when the world around us feels chaotic, when we feel lost or unsure, it is the inner voice that can restore our clarity. It reminds us that we are not victims of circumstance, but creators of our reality. It reassures us that no matter how things may appear on the surface, everything is unfolding as it should. The inner voice is the constant in the midst of change, the anchor in the storm. To follow this voice is to step into our power as creators. It is to trust that we are always being guided, always being led to what is right for us, even if we cannot yet see the full picture. In listening to this voice, we align ourselves with the flow of life itself, allowing the divine intelligence to work through us. And when we trust this inner guidance, we find that life unfolds in ways more beautiful and perfect than we could have ever imagined. Detachment is not about indifference or neglect, it is about understanding the nature of reality and our role as creators within it. It involves releasing the need for control over external outcomes, while maintaining a deep inner focus on our desires and intentions. In practicing conscious detachment, we shift our awareness from the external world and its illusions to the inner world where true power lies. At its core, conscious detachment is an acknowledgement that the outer world is but a reflection of the inner state. When we understand this, we no longer become emotionally entangled in the fleeting circumstances around us. Whether they appear positive or negative, circumstances do not define us. They are simply a mirror, reflecting back what we believe and assume to be true. To detach consciously means to recognize that we do not need to cling to any particular outcome, because our inner state is what truly shapes our experience. The ego, which thrives on attachment and identification with the material world, resists this notion. It seeks to control, manipulate, and force outcomes to align with its desires. It equates detachment with passivity, assuming that if we let go, things will not work out in our favor. However, the truth is quite the opposite. When we release the need for specific results, we allow the universe to work in ways far beyond what the ego can comprehend. This is because detachment opens us to the infinite possibilities that exist when we are not confined by rigid expectations. Conscious detachment. We must first understand that everything we desire is already ours on a vibrational level. The universe operates based on resonance. What we are inwardly is what we attract outwardly. By clinging to outcomes or specific manifestations, we actually introduce resistance into the process. We send a message of lack or desperation, signaling that we do not truly believe in the fulfillment of our desire. Detachment, however, is an expression of faith. It says, I trust that what is meant for me will come in its perfect time, and I need not force it. When we detach, we maintain our vision of the end goal, but we are not dependent on the way it comes to pass. This doesn't mean we stop caring or stop acting. It means we act from a place of peace and certainty rather than anxiety or fear. We hold our vision, knowing it is already done, and we release the need to micromanage the process. This state of inner calm allows us to be flexible and open to opportunities we might otherwise miss if we were obsessing over a specific outcome. Conscious detachment also protects our energy. When we are attached, we are constantly expending emotional and mental energy, often worrying or doubting. This drains our creative power. By detaching, we conserve that energy, channeling it inward to reinforce our belief in the outcome and to remain aligned with the state of fulfillment. Detachment is a form of surrender not to failure, but to the higher intelligence that knows how to bring our desires to fruition in the most harmonious way. From the outer world, we gain mastery over it. We are no longer swayed by the highs and lows of circumstance, because we understand that true creation happens from within. This perspective empowers us to live in a state of flow, where we are responsive rather than reactive, guided by our inner knowing rather than the fleeting conditions of the external world. Conscious detachment, then, is not a withdrawal from life, but an immersion in its deepest truths. Through it, we reclaim our power and align with the flow of creation, allowing life to unfold as it was always meant to. The ego thrives on separation. It creates the illusion that we are separate from others, from our desires, and from the divine. It convinces us that we must compete, that we are not enough as we are, and that fulfillment lies in the accumulation of things, status, or external relationships. This illusion keeps us trapped in cycles of fear, doubt, and scarcity, always seeking but never truly finding. However, mastery over the ego begins when we recognize that these beliefs are illusions. The ego's voice is loud, but it is not the truth. The higher self, which is connected to the divine source, knows that we are already whole, already complete, and already in possession of everything we need. To master the ego, we must first become aware of its patterns. The ego operates through fear of lack, fear of failure, fear of rejection, and fear of being unworthy. It clings to external circumstances and reacts to them, convincing us that our value is dependent on what we can acquire or achieve in the material world. But as we develop self-awareness, we begin to see that the ego's fears are based on false premises. We learn to observe the ego without becoming entangled in its drama. This detachment is the first step toward mastery. Once we recognize the ego's grip, the next step is to align with the higher self. The higher self does not seek validation from the external world, because it knows that all power and wisdom reside within. It operates from a place of abundance, love, and unity, instead of fear, The higher self is driven by faith and trust in the divine order of things. Mastering the ego, then, is about consistently choosing to listen to the higher self rather than reacting to the ego's demands. It is a process of shifting from fear-based thinking to faith-based living. Mastering the ego also requires humility. The ego seeks to place itself above others, to compare and to judge. But true mastery lies in understanding that all beings are expressions of the same divine source. There is no need for competition, because we are all connected. The success or failure of others does not diminish or enhance our own worth. When we realize this, we stop reacting to the ego's impulse to judge or criticize, and instead operate from a place of compassion and understanding. Mastery over the ego is about reclaiming our power as creators. The ego would have us believe that we are at the mercy of external circumstances, that we must strive and struggle to achieve our desires. But the higher self knows that creation begins within. By aligning with this truth, we transcend the ego's limitations and step into our true power. We no longer live in reaction to the world, but create from the inside out, manifesting a life of peace, abundance, and fulfillment. Mastery over the ego is the path to living in harmony with the divine, where we are no longer bound by the illusions of separation, but are free to experience the limitless potential of our true nature. Is more than the absence of sound, it is a powerful tool for conserving energy and directing it purposefully toward the fulfillment of our desires. In a world that constantly encourages expression, communication, and outward action, the power of silence is often overlooked. Yet it is in moments of silence that we gather our strength, align with our higher self, and harness the creative energy that fuels our intentions. Silence allows us to withdraw from the distractions and demands of the outer world, giving us the space to center ourselves and refocus our energy on what truly matters. And words carry energy. Every thought we verbalize and every conversation we engage in is an exchange of energy. While communication is essential in many aspects of life, unnecessary words and conversations often deplete our energy reserves. Idle talk, gossip, and even excessive mental chatter disperse our focus, scattering the energy that could be directed toward meaningful creation. By choosing silence, we conserve this vital energy, allowing it to accumulate and be used more effectively. We become aware that every word spoken carries weight, and in choosing to remain silent, we preserve our creative power for moments of true significance. To conserving mental and emotional energy, silence helps us conserve physical energy. In moments of silence, our nervous system relaxes, our breathing deepens, and our body enters a state of rest and renewal. This physiological response not only restores balance but also amplifies our capacity for focused thought and action. Silence is therefore a source of rejuvenation, replenishing our energy stores and preparing us for the next phase of creation. The true power of silence lies in its ability to connect us with the infinite. When we are silent, we open ourselves to the flow of divine energy that is always available to us. In these moments of stillness, we align with the higher frequencies of consciousness, allowing the universe to work through us. Our energy becomes synchronized with the creative forces of the cosmos, and our intentions are infused with the power to manifest in the physical world. Choosing silence does not mean withdrawing from life or abandoning communication altogether. It means becoming more intentional about how and when we speak. It means understanding that our energy is a finite resource, and that conserving it allows us to focus on what truly matters. By embracing silence, we create space for deeper connection, greater clarity, and more profound creativity. We discover that we are not powerless in a noisy world. On the contrary, we are empowered, for it is through silence that we gather our strength, conserve our energy, and direct it toward the realization of our highest desires. Silence is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is the container for the infinite possibilities that lie within us, waiting to be expressed. Manifestation through inner faith is the process by which we bring our desires into reality by aligning with the unwavering belief that what we seek is already ours. Faith, in its truest form, is not merely hoping or wishing for something to happen, it is knowing with absolute certainty that it is already done. This deep inner conviction is the foundation upon which all creation rests. The power to manifest lies not in external actions or conditions, but in the belief that our desires are already fulfilled in the unseen realm and will inevitably be realized in the physical world. At the heart of manifestation through faith is the understanding that we are co-creators with the divine. We are not separate from the source of all creation, we are an extension of it. When we recognize this truth, we see that the same creative force that shapes the universe also flows through us. Through us. This realization shifts our perspective from one of limitation to one of limitless possibility. We no longer look to the outer world for proof of what is possible, because we understand that the outer world is simply a reflection of our inner state. By cultivating faith within, we set the stage for the physical manifestation of our desires. Inner faith operates on a principle that is beyond the confines of time and space. While the ego may demand immediate results, true faith is patient, for it understands that all things unfold in divine timing. Faith does not waver in the face of temporary delays or obstacles, because it knows that what is meant to be will come to pass. This deep trust allows us to remain calm and centered, even when the external world seems contrary to our desires. It is in these moments of apparent opposition that faith is most powerful. By holding steadfast to our belief in the unseen, we align ourselves with the flow of creation and allow the universe to bring about the perfect circumstances for our desires to manifest. The key to manifesting through inner faith is living from the end. This means mentally and emotionally embodying the state of having already achieved what we desire. When we act, think, and feel as though our desire is already fulfilled, we enter into alignment with that reality. This alignment is crucial because the universe responds to our inner state, not our outward pleas or efforts. If we dwell in doubt, fear, or lack, we create resistance, pushing our desires further away. But when we reside in the feeling of faith, when we live as though our desires are already a reality, we invite the universe to reflect that belief in the physical world. Inner faith also frees us from the need for external validation. When we rely on the outer world for signs that our desires are on their way, we give away our power. True faith requires no proof, no confirmation, for it is rooted in the knowing that creation begins from within. It allows us to release attachment to the how and when of manifestation, trusting that the universe will bring about the perfect circumstances in ways we may not even foresee. This surrender is not passive, but rather a powerful act of trust, recognizing that the divine intelligence within us is far more capable than the limited mind. By cultivating faith, we also open ourselves to inspired action. Manifestation through inner faith is not about sitting idly and waiting for things to happen. It is about being attuned to the quiet whispers of intuition, which guide us toward the next step in the unfolding of our desires. When we trust in our inner faith, we are more receptive to these promptings and are willing to take action, knowing that we are being divinely led. Manifestation through inner faith is the art of living in alignment with our highest self. It is the process of consciously choosing to believe in the power of the unseen, trusting in our ability to create, and knowing that our desires are already fulfilled. By holding this inner conviction, we shape our outer reality in ways that are often beyond what we could have imagined, as the universe mirrors back to us the truth of our faith. From the state of completion is the practice of embodying the feeling and mindset that our desires are already fulfilled, even before they manifest in the physical world. It is a shift in consciousness that places us in alignment with the reality we seek to create, allowing us to move through life as if our goals and dreams have already been realized. This powerful concept is rooted in the understanding that our inner state determines our outer experience. When we live from the end, we attract and create the conditions necessary for our desires to unfold naturally. At its core, living from the state of completion is about belief and faith. It requires a deep knowing that everything we desire is already ours on an energetic level. The universe operates according to laws of vibration, where like attracts like. Therefore, if we continually project feelings of lack, doubt, or impatience, we attract experiences that mirror those states of being. Conversely, When we live from a place of fulfillment, peace, and certainty, we resonate with the reality we wish to experience, drawing it closer into our physical world. This practice begins within the mind. To live from the state of completion, we must first visualize our desires as already achieved. This is not mere daydreaming, it is a deliberate act of creation. When we close our eyes and imagine ourselves living the life we desire, feeling the emotions, experiencing the details, and fully immersing ourselves in that reality, we impress this vision upon our subconscious mind. The subconscious, which cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined, accepts this mental picture as truth and begins to organize our thoughts, actions, and external circumstances to bring it into being. Living from the end also involves aligning our emotions with this imagined reality. We must feel the joy, gratitude, and satisfaction that come with having already received what we desire. These emotions are powerful frequencies that accelerate the manifestation process. When we emotionally align with the state of completion, we broadcast a signal to the universe that we are ready to receive, and the universe responds by matching our vibrational frequency with opportunities, people, and situations that reflect that reality. Living from the state of completion does not mean forcing or controlling the outer world. It is not about trying to manipulate circumstances or push things to happen. Instead, it is about trusting the process and allowing the universe to work in its own perfect timing. When we live from a place of already having, we release the need for constant effort and struggle. We are no longer chasing our desires, but rather we are attracting them effortlessly because we are in alignment with the outcome. This mindset also frees us from attachment to specific outcomes. When we live from completion, we understand that our desires are already done in the unseen realm. We no longer need to worry about how or when they will manifest because we trust that they are on their way. This sense of detachment allows us to remain open to the infinite possibilities the universe can provide, often bringing about results in ways that are far better than we could have imagined. Living from the state of completion also has a profound effect on our daily behavior. When we embody the feeling of already being the person who has achieved what we want, we naturally begin to act in ways that align with that reality. Our decisions, attitudes, and actions are guided by the belief that we are already living the life we desire. This creates a powerful feedback loop where our internal state of completion generates external results that reflect our inner vision. Living from the state of completion is about stepping into our role as conscious creators. It is a recognition that we are not separate from our desires, but are already one with them on a deeper level. By living from the end, we align our mind, emotions, and actions with the frequency of what we wish to experience, allowing the physical manifestation of our desires to flow into our lives with ease and grace. In conclusion, the path to conscious creation lies within us. By mastering our inner state through silence, detachment, faith, and living from a place of completion, we align ourselves with the creative forces of the universe. The outer world is a reflection of our inner reality, and when we recognize this truth, we unlock our power to manifest the life we truly desire. Each of these practices guides us toward living as the highest version of ourselves, allowing us to create with purpose, ease, and certainty. Thank you for embracing this journey of inner transformation.